This show is not getting any better. So, last week's episode was terrible. Still the worst episode of the series. We're going to get 8 of these, so we're halfway through this only, unfortunately. This week was pretty bad too, though. This was like, once again, they're getting things wrong. They're making it a bore. This episode, look, I know I started last week's out saying, yeah, last week's was really bad. It's still the worst one. Like, that was some bad stuff. This week, it was just a bore. Like, it was only 28 minutes of actual show, too. And it was the longest 28 minutes ever. I think of any of these, I don't know. But this whole episode was the journey to find the Wookiee Jedi. And when I say the journey to find the Wookiee Jedi, it is literally, that's the episode. I don't know how many people would understand this. I am a big fan of The Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead would like to do this. They would do this quite a bit in like season 7 and season 8 of Walking Dead, where they would travel between communities. And they would spend whole episodes in that show just traveling from one community to the next, which they're not close, but they were relatively far enough to, but besides the point, The Walking Dead would do things like that too, where they would spend entire episodes, instead of just getting to the point and getting to the story, they would spend entire episodes traveling from one place to another, and they did that in this episode. The entire episode is just finding the Wookiee Jedi. That's it. It was boring, and felt a lot longer than it really was. It was the shortest episode. So we see a shot of the Wookiee Jedi. We get a scene with Osha and the Padawan girl, and they talk for a little bit. Osha's about to leave. They said that she's done. I guess she's just going to be done helping the Jedi now. She wants to be, and she's just going to leave because, they confirmed that it's May doing things. Then we cut to May looking exactly the same as Osha, except for the longer hair in the back. Very, very different. I know. I still can't get past that they look exactly the same, basically. So she's looking for the Wookiee Jedi too. So everyone is just going to track down the Wookiee Jedi. And May wants to go and kill the Wookiee Jedi with her friend that gave her the poison. So here's the first big issue with this episode. So besides the boring Wookiee hunt, we do get a scene with a Jedi Master who looks a lot like Ki-Adi-Mundi. They're talking about May and, her issues and like who she is and what, issues could come from this and who her master is. Someone trained her, as it says. Who is her master? We need to find this out. What's going on here? There's something weird going on. The Sith aren't around. They haven't been for a long, long time, as Ki-Adi-Mundi explained in the prequels. But speaking of Ki-Adi-Mundi, now you would think, okay, 100 years before Revenge of the Sith or something for this show, you think, okay, Ki-Adi-Mundi can't be around yet, right? I'm not a deep lore expert. I don't know exactly when he was born, but I'm pretty certain it's a little weird if Ki-Adi-Mundi was around now, right? Especially if he's like a fully grown Jedi already, right? Well, the credits told us that this is indeed Ki-Adi-Mundi, a younger Ki-Adi-Mundi in the Acolyte. I don't know when he was born, okay? Lore experts there can tell me that. I'm pretty sure Ki-Adi-Mundi was not around, at least in this capacity, at the very, very best I can give them, in this capacity, yet. Why is he in the show? Why is Ki-Adi-Mundi in the Acolyte, which is set 100 years before Revenge, whatever. Anyways, let's get past that lore break, and let's get back to Ki-Adi-Mundi. So they're talking about if they should report this master in May to the higher council, the higher Jedi council, the one with Yoda and stuff. They said, no, we can't let this go to the higher council. It's only going to cause more problems and chaos and havoc and whatnot. And says, we must alert the high council. No. Bald-headed green lady said, we should handle this ourselves. Ki-Adi-Mundi, who is apparently around, wants to alert the high council. So, look, one may say, oh, well, he could still do it. No, he doesn't. Because they wouldn't be saying how the Sith or these guys are basically like dark side Sith. Like, you're telling me this wouldn't come up in the prequels when they're talking about the Sith and their reemergence after like a generation? The Sith have not been around for a long time, and now suddenly they've popped up, or guys with red lightsabers in the Force have popped up, and it's just not mentioned at all. And it's a big mess, and apparently now they're just not alerting the High Council. They don't want to bother Yoda, I guess, with their troubles. Very, very strange. I don't know if they will do something with Yoda in this show. I'm surprised they still haven't, because he's definitely around, and that is the only Jedi I expected to see in this show around this time, because he's the only one that makes sense that we know. So Yoda is somewhere, and we'll have to see if they put him in this. I kind of hope they just don't. I don't want to see him. But now we're just putting Jedi who shouldn't be in the show instead in the show, in a timeline in place where they just shouldn't be. So once again, it just shows how much Leslye Headland really knows. And again, I'm not going to say I'm a deep lore Star Wars expert. I don't know when Mundi was specifically born. I don't know. Maybe his race and his species can live longer than normal. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I do not think he should be around now. I don't think he should be. So we cut to more scenes with May and her friend is also trying to work with, or is working with, her master some way. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Some people theorize maybe it's her friend here that is the guy. I don't know. We'll see who that guy is eventually, probably. But right now, her friend is also working with this dark master that she's serving. We do get a scene with Sol trying to recruit May Osha into coming with him on the mission, and he brings her on the mission, so they accept. And then we get to another next really fun scene in Leslye Headland's fantasy of Star Wars. We get this little creature thing, whatever it is, that is going along with the Jedi on their mission to try and track down the Jedi Wookiee and May and stuff. So we got this thing like sniffing Osha and whatnot, her droid, and she goes off to ask the Jedi Padawan, who is this thing? Who is this guy? Who is he? She's like, is he, or they? Are they with us? So, we got a pronoun correction of the little sniffy creature tracker thing that we've got in this show. I'm glad we corrected the pronouns, or at least respected the possible different pronouns of a creature tracker animal thing that they got with them. I'm really glad we touched upon that. I'm very, very happy that we are touching on the most important things in Star Wars today. Thank you so much, Leslye Headland, for your extreme knowledge and care for this story. I'm just blown away. Anyways, one more thing that was really, I just noticed it, okay? So the Jedi get to the place, right? And they talk to an alien who knew where Cal Naka, or whatever, this Jedi Wookiee went. Apparently a year ago he came and then went off into the woods, and they found that out. They literally said, the alien literally told them about a year ago, or whatever, when he came there, he went to the woods. And then Sol walks away, all the Jedi start and look towards this big forest. And then he says, Cal Naka is in there. Yeah. We know he's in there. The alien just told you he's in there. Thank you for letting us know again. I just thought it was really strange. It's like they needed to tell it to us again. Like, hey, if you didn't hear it for the first time like 10 seconds ago, yes, Cal Naka, he's over there in the forest that the alien just said he's in. Thank you, Sol. So as they're going into the forest, they fight some creatures. Shout out to the Bad Batch. And then we cut to May again with her friend. She kind of like strings up her friend on a rope and kind of traps him and says, you know what? I'm actually going to be a good person now. I'm getting tired of this, working for this evil Sith Master person, whoever it is. And you know what? I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to hunt down Cal Naka anymore. I'm going to go to him and surrender. And I'm just going to surrender to the Jedi and turn myself in. All that matters now is Osha, because she's alive. So now I'm a good person again. Sure, I just murdered 2 Jedi Masters. Doesn't matter, though. I'm a good person. I'm not going to serve this guy anymore. He's bad. So I guess May is just going to start turning good now. And with these shows, they like to reach the point of trying to make them all sympathetic in some way. No, she's a Jedi killer, and I cannot wait to see what they do with her in this show. Because I can predict some things already. They're going to make us try and feel all bad and sympathetic for her. And it's the most predictable possible outcome that they can go with this character. And they're really clearly setting up now that this master of hers with the weird smiley mask thing is going to be like the main villain now of the show. And May is just kind of there, stuck in between or something. I don't know. So she goes to find this Wookiee Jedi. And, okay, out of all the shit in this show, maybe we can get some good Wookiee Jedi action. That'd be kind of interesting to see, right? No, he's dead already. Lightsaber slash to the chest, so he's just dead. He's gone. So we know that somebody else is around because there's a lightsaber slash, and the only one with a lightsaber that is bad in this show, well, is the guy with the smiley mask. So the Jedi, they confront May in the house with the Wookiee Jedi Kalnaka, and as they're facing and calling for May to come out, the smiley masked freak floats down behind Osha. I don't know if we just do that now in the Force and just float around and levitate. I don't know if... Look, I'm not saying it's not possible, but we don't really see people do that in Star Wars that much. There's got to be a certain limitation, right? I don't know. Maybe it makes sense with seeing how powerful this individual is in the Force because of what they do next. Maybe this individual is just so powerful that they could just do that. So they levitate behind them. They show up behind Osha and ignite their red lightsaber. Look how menacing I am. I have a really creepy face thing on my helmet there. I mean, I guess it kind of looks cool, but look, there's almost nothing about this show that I can really praise. So I guess the mask is kind of interesting. It's an interesting idea. You know, they're trying to make him look all creepy, but we'll see what this character does. Ignites the lightsaber, uses the Force like nothing. The Jedi all ignite theirs, just throws Osha to the side like they're just insanely powerful in the Force. And then the master, whatever Sith person, throws all the Jedi across the field like nothing. So this individual is just extremely powerful in the Force, apparently. Once again, guys, just a reminder, this never makes it to the knowledge of the Jedi and the High Council and all that stuff for the prequels. This is not mentioned whatsoever, not once, ever. 100 years ago, by the way, or not even 100 years ago by the Phantom Menace, there was this like really evil guy with this red lightsaber who was extremely powerful in the Force with his apprentice, and they were killing Jedi Masters. That didn't happen. So the episode ends on that, and we're going to see this crazy, awesome fight next week with this smiley face mask person who is going to be the real villain of the show because May is apparently good now. There are a lot of issues with this show. I didn't enjoy this episode. I actually enjoyed it much less than even the first two, which I did say were just not as bad as I expected them to be. The first two were just kind of there. They weren't good, but they were just there. They weren't obnoxiously bad. But now we're getting into situations and lore issues and everything like that. That is just, it's making it ridiculous to watch. This is an embarrassment to Star Wars. It's just got the Star Wars name slapped on it, and it's not Star Wars. I mean, they don't even care about looking into the lore of anything, to be honest. Like the Sith, these Darksiders should not be around. They gotta go through some big hoops now to try and make sure that this is like something that didn't happen or is not significant enough for the Jedi to mention now in the prequel. It's like they're doing such big, significant things now that should be mentioned that happened, but they didn't happen. These things didn't happen. There was no extremely insane, powerful Force user. Maybe it's not even like a Sith, okay? Look, if it is a Sith, that is full-blown, like they just don't care anymore. I'm predicting it's still not a Sith Lord, and that's why they say it's not the Sith in the prequels, and the Sith haven't been around. But if it is a Sith, I would not be surprised that they do that, because they just don't care. This is sloppy. The acting is not great. I mean, the acting of the main character is just so basic and bland. Like, there's no variation of her and May, Osha and May at all. It's just straight face, blank, like, yeah, I'll do this, I'll help you out, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like, I just find it hard to sit through. I really, really do. And I'm so curious on how much more they can do in 4 episodes left of this show. This episode was a nothing. There is nothing of intrigue or interest in this episode whatsoever. It is literally just a travel episode to the next plot point that will probably be disappointing once again. So that is basically my thoughts going after this episode of The Acolyte. Episode 4. We'll see what kind of other stuff they mess up next week. But that is my thoughts this time around.